And, okay, there we are. And all right, we are recording again live. So by me saying that, it is your consent to be a part of this. You're all muted now anyway, so it shouldn't be that big of a deal to be recorded. My name is Carrie McKinnon, and I am the co-founder of the International Language Coaching Association, along with Gabriella Kovacs, not to be confused with our host today, Gabriella Ferenczi. I call them the two Gabriellas. And we are so excited for you to be joining us today. We have a few announcements that we're going to get started with. One second, sorry guys, if I'm a little bit distracted. We've still got people that I am trying to let in.
I'll do that.
Kovacs, yeah, could you do that for me? There we go. Okay, great. So you're on it for the letting people in. I will just speak. I wanted to say a couple of things about this before we get started. First of all, our foundation course begins in less than 1 week. So we're officially in the less than 1 week countdown for it. It is a better time to join than ever before, because if you've been following us on LinkedIn or on our website or anywhere, then you will know that we have recently opened an ILCA community. This is an intentional space for language coaches and aspiring language coaches and language teachers and professionals of all walks to come together to communicate, to be the best versions of ourselves. We have intentionally chosen to take this off of social media. So this is not a Facebook group. There is a possibility for you to join by making monthly installments. However, if you join with our foundation course or any of the field programs that we have on our website roster, where you can take it and see that, if you join with any of those, you get 1 year of membership in that community. It's a very special place. We're super excited about it. Our ILCA advisory board members are in there as well to make connections with all of you. So please do join us there. So that's my little plug for that. We will drop the URL so you can go and look at the membership plans for just the community or for the foundation and community. And then if you're interested in if you already taken foundation and you're interested in one of the other field program courses, we'll give you, it's that same price, and we'll go ahead and give you access to the community as soon as you sign up for it. Okay, so that is members.internationallanguagecoaching.com. All right, so that is the URL, and we'll drop it in the chat box for anybody. The replay of this video will be on our YouTube channel as well as in the community. So please do meet with us. Please do check it out. And if you weren't able to meet with us today, and watch our replay there, and like and subscribe and support us on YouTube, that's very helpful. And now we will get to the subject at hand. I am so excited and honored today to introduce Gabriella Ferenczi. I just was telling the two Gabis that I've been thinking about what I wanted to say since yesterday, because Gabriella Ferenczi is the reason that ILCA exists, in a sense, and that we're here, right? And so through her online marketing efforts, our origin story is that a few years ago, I was sitting in Casablanca, Morocco, scrolling the internet from my language teaching business, and ran into, I believe it was a YouTube interview that Gabriella Ferenczi was interviewing Gabriella Kovacs, talking about language coaching. And from that point, I actually looked up both Gabriellas and ended up flying to London to meet them, to attend a training, the foundation course, by the way. And it is from there that Gabriella Kovacs and I connected and decided to build this space. And now what we are seeing come to fruition, this community of language coaches, this central point on the internet to connect all of us. So that, I think, is a very powerful introduction in terms of what Gabriella Ferenczi can do. She knows her stuff. She knows what she's talking about. She works her, networking, connecting with clients, bringing people together. This is all in her wheelhouse. We have so much respect for her. She is on our ILCA advisory board and she has been with us from the beginning. Thank you so much for being here today. And I am going to hand things over to you for now.
Wow.
Now, let me.
Wonderful introduction. And thank you so much for the warm welcome. Just a bit of housekeeping before I actually get to it. I don't know if what sort of view you are using on your screen at the moment, but you would want to use the speaker view so that whoever is speaking is actually visible now, because I'm going to be using my presentation slides in a way that you can hopefully see now. So make sure that on the top right corner of the screen, you can see the speaker view option. So that's what you would want to do rather than the gallery view, to make sure that you can see the visual elements of my talk actually. So thank you very much again for the warm welcome, and let's get to it, because I want to share a lot with you. And if you don't mind, I think I'm going to start with a short introduction about who I am. Then we are going to talk about you guys. Then we will talk about your clients, how to find those clients, because that's what we are here for. And then I also want to address just briefly marketing as such, because I feel that many of us, language professionals, language teachers, tend to be a little bit more reserved when it comes to marketing, and we feel a little bit shy. We don't want to come across as too pushy. And I just want to share with you a couple of ideas about the right kind of marketing mindset that will really allow you to attract the clients that you would really want to work with. So quickly, let's talk about myself, but for some reason my clicker is not wanting to do the job. Okay, let's just do it over here. Let me see. Okay, cool. So I'm based in London, and I'm a German and Hungarian language teacher, language trainer. I also use coaching elements in my language training lessons. And in fact, I learned a lot from ILCA and from Gabriella Kovacs herself, and the coaching techniques that she's teaching as part of ILCA. I run a boutique language training company here in London. It's called ProLingua Global. And it's a boutique business. It's basically, the name suggests that it's a large enterprise, but actually it's just me. And at any one time, I would work with 10 key clients, teaching them either German or Hungarian. This particular client that you can see on the screen, he's James. He's one of my long-term clients. He works in finance. So I specialize in working with finance executives and finance professionals. Now, it wasn't always like that, but I will come back to this, and I will talk to you a little bit more about the story of ProLingua Global itself. But another side of me is what the ladies just mentioned before. I also host and organize a monthly networking event series for language professionals. It's called Language Professionals Networking Event. It's a non-profit meeting series where all sorts of language professionals, so not just teachers like ourselves, but lots of other people who work with languages in some shape or form would come together to network and meet. And more recently, I started a passion project that I call Thrive Online. And it's basically a space where I share the nitty-gritty of practical modern online marketing with language professionals like ourselves. And this is something that I really just started very, very recently. As part of Thrive Online, I've got a podcast channel. There are lots of free resources on this website that I'm just sharing with you here. There are lots of free trainings and webinars and stuff like that. So maybe you would want to check that out as well. Now, moving on to tell you a little bit about my actual story and how I established my language training business and started to attract clients into it. So basically, when I came over to London, it was 13, 14 years ago. So I'm originally from Hungary. I was born into a German-Hungarian family. So that's my language background. I moved over to London about 14 years ago or something like that. And immediately I started out as a freelance language teacher. So I would work with lots of different schools, like independent language schools. I would work with agencies who would send me out to different companies. I had some private clients. I worked with all sorts of people. Children, like more teenager age children, to corporate leaders and even executives. And everything was going fairly well until 2015 or something like that. One of my key clients, which was a German, is and still is a German bank, and this is where also James, the person you just saw on the previous slide, so he works in this particular German bank company. Basically, they announced that they had to cut their training budget by half. So it was back in 2015, 2016, and I was relying on this business way too heavily. And that was a wake-up call for me, because suddenly I found myself in a position with zero online presence. I was completely relying on, my existing contacts and schools and agencies to provide me with the work. And then suddenly I was in this famine situation, because from that particular bank, I just had a lot of clients. And then suddenly from 1 month to the next, they had to cut their training budget. And that was the wake-up call when I decided that, okay, so I either take this seriously and I set up a professional, online presence so that I can attract clients to myself, rather than just sitting and waiting for schools and companies to contact me. So either I do this, or I will need to find a part-time job so I can sustain myself. London is quite an expensive city, so it was really something that I had to sort out fairly soon. So, and that's how ProLingua Global basically started. I must admit that I did business training. I invested heavily so when I decided that, okay, I'm going to take this seriously, I invested in some business training. And here is the thought process that I actually went through. Basically, I was trying to decide and discover, who is it that I like working with? Where do I feel that I can give the most value and make a difference in these people's life? And also, who are the ones who can actually afford me and afford the higher than average market price that I'm asking for? And at the intersection of this, I found that the answer is finance professionals, finance executives. I really liked working with these people. They had the money, they could afford me, and I could feel that I could make a real difference in their lives. And this is how actually ProLingua Global was born, with website, email marketing, social media. Well, I will talk about that because I've got a confession in that arena to make. And all sorts of things. And basically now it just goes like autopilot. So I've got the client inquiries when I need them and when I want them. And what I want to share with you guys now is basically how I make sure that my calendar is full when it, and that how I ensure that I've got a steady stream of clients coming my way. Now, so this is about me, but let's talk about you just briefly as well. So basically, if you are here, then I think you are a language teacher. You are someone who is interested in the coaching approach when it comes to language teaching, which is what ILCA is all about. Then I'm assuming that you take professional development really seriously. You want to be the best language teacher you can possibly be, serve your clients in the best possible way. The question is really how to find those clients, right? So how do you actually reach them? How do you actually find them? And then what can you do that you find them at the time when you really, really need them? Because I'm assuming that we would all need more clients, right? Because this is why we are here. How do we find more clients online for our language training business? So this is what I'm assuming here as I'm moving forward with my talk, that we are all on the same page. We just want more clients, basically, and find ways to attract the right kind of clients. Now, so let's talk about those clients then. So the question really is, who are they? Who are they? Like anyone and everyone. who would want to study German or Hungarian with me. Well, before 2015, 16, whenever it was, for me, it was definitely anyone and everyone. You know, schools would send me some clients and I would say, yes, of course. I would work really with anyone and everyone. When I decided that I will take this seriously and I would set up ProLingua Global, I decided that I cannot work with anyone and everyone. I decided that I would want to serve a very specific market niche, and I just shared like a few moments ago my actual thought process that went into deciding who it is that I would like to serve: finance executives, finance professionals. So basically, I looked through my previous 6 years of working with all these sorts of people, you know, teenagers, corporate leaders, in all sorts of sectors, from fashion to the automotive industry. I worked with a lot of people. I just went through my list. It was over 100 people. And I just looked at who it was that I really enjoyed working with. I looked at, again, where did I feel that I can make a difference in their lives, and where did I feel a real connection from both sides, and I wanted to check, you know, who has the capacity to afford my higher than average prices, because the way I packaged my services was way above the market average, and is still way above the market average. I will tell you in a moment what I exactly charge for my packages. Point is that at the intersection of this, I found that it was finance executives that I would want to serve. So I would like to encourage you as well to think about a very specific niche, and as specific as you can be, because the more specific you are, the more appropriate your communication is going to be towards that particular niche. So your marketing, your copy will automatically address the right kind of people who will resonate to what it is that you offer. So the whole story really starts with the niching, because that's where you can also position your service packages. That's where you can come up with the right kind of price. It all starts with the niche. Having said that, you know, just because I've got a very clear kind of communication about who it is that I'm working with, finance people, finance professionals, funny enough, I get inquiries from non-finance people as well. So the target is not always the market. For example, last year I was approached by a marketing executive who asked if I would be willing to work with him. So for me, the question in this case is always, is there the connection? So can I genuinely feel that I can serve this person to the best of my ability? Do I really feel that I can make a difference in his or her life? And can they afford me? If the answer is yes, then of course it's a no-brainer. Of course, I'm not going to say, sorry, I only work with finance professionals. You know, you are not one of them. So of course, I'm going to say yes. But it's really interesting that a lot of people, I feel, are afraid of niching down. But that's what happens. You niche down, but you would still get other inquiries, which is really, really interesting. Now, let's move on. So that is basically about the target audience, the target clients. Define who they are and be as specific as you can be, because everything else will then start to kind of fall into place. Now let's talk about how to find them, because now we know who they are, right? Let's see how we can actually find these guys. So I would say, and the title of the talk is how to find clients online, right? So online is the new high street. Whether we like it or not, it is the new high street. You know, we are looking for things online. We are looking for service providers online. We have to be online, and we have to show up for people who are actually looking for us and looking for what we do and what we offer. How can we show up? Well, first of all, website. It's absolutely non-negotiable. Even if it's a one-page website, please make sure that you have one. It's your why. Why is it non-negotiable? Here is the thing. Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, you name it, social platforms, they are not yours. You are in the hands of algorithms. right? Anytime there is a change about an algorithm, there is change in regulations, whatever, suddenly things change on these social platforms. That's not going to happen with your website. The website is yours. It looks the way you want it to look. You can customize it the way you want it to be customized. It's your own asset. No social media platform is your own asset, which is why it's an absolutely non-negotiable asset to have for your language training business. It works 24/7. Even when you sleep, people will find it, people will read it. It's your best salesperson, honestly. If it's structured in a way that really connects with whoever comes across that website and likes you and understands who you are and feels that you could serve them, you know, it's the best salesperson. So I really think that even those of us who are a bit more on the introvert side, right, and are a little bit hesitant about marketing and sales, website can do it all. It can really do it all. If it's done really professionally, you know, it takes out this hassle of marketing and pushing and all the negative things that we might associate with marketing. Now, trust. So here is the thing. My cheapest language training package that people would buy, and they have to pay upfront. So I don't do the rolling thing. I don't do the rolling contract. Everyone has to invest and everyone has to pay upfront. My cheapest language training package is £1,200. Okay, but the most popular one is the £1,600 package. I'm not sure what it is in euros, but basically that's my most popular package. Question: who in their right mind would pay me £1,600 upfront without, you know, seeing that I'm actually someone who is a credible person? The website, also the online presence, it really speaks for itself and it's really professional. No one. I would not pay anyone £1,600 if that person only had a social media page and a Gmail address. That's just not professional enough for me. I would not feel that I can trust my money with that person. And I have massive respect for anyone here who is here, because I know that you are all wonderful teachers. And this is what really bugs me. Wonderful professionals, really great at what we do. And yet we are struggling precisely because of these sort of things are just not in place. Let's make sure that it's in place. A website, please, it's non-negotiable, even if it's just a one-pager. It can be a simple one page, but beautifully designed, nicely sectioned website. It will do the job for you and take out a lot of the hassle that you associate with marketing. Now, let's just stick for a moment with website, because there are a couple of things that I see language professionals are making in terms of the copy that they use. One of it is the jargon. So a jargon and acronyms even. So, you know, words like multilingual, or words like ESL. I'm an ESL teacher. I see this a lot with English language teachers, for example, ESL or EFL teacher. So this is industry jargon, and these are acronyms only we would understand, who are industry insiders. Someone who is actually looking for you, they are looking for an English teacher. So we have to write it really out and use those words, because it helps also with Google search engine. You know, people are not looking for an EFL teacher. People are going to be looking for an English teacher, or whatever language for that matter. But please don't use any industry jargon that your target audience would not understand. And the other thing that I often see in terms of copy and website is the lack of the use of you, right? So you would want to speak to your customer, you want to empathize with them. You put yourself in their shoes and you write from their perspective. You are someone who, you are this kind of person, and then you would come with whatever it is that you actually do and how you can help. So rather than using general language, use you in your website copy. Here's a good example. I'm not sure if it's visible enough or if you can actually read it. Like just to copywriting examples, each customer will be required to review our new guidelines, as opposed to, as a customer, you are required to review our new guidelines. Subtle difference, but it makes a big, big difference. The other thing I want to point out is, when we are talking about website, just imagine this. The website is out there. People are landing on it from all sorts of places, and they are checking it out. They are actually quite like you, but they are not just ready to buy. I mean, no one can blame them. I mean, when we are looking for something or a service, right? We want to do our research. We want to have a look around. We want to get a better understanding. Is this the right person? Especially when it comes to £1,600 package, they really want to understand is this the right person to help me out. So, we've got these people on the website, but then, if they are not yet ready to buy, or make a conscious effort to inquire and get in touch with you, you would still want to stay in touch with them, right? Or you would like to at least give them the chance to stay in touch with you. You can do that by giving them the opportunity to subscribe to a newsletter, or to download a paper, or in return for an email address. And then, you want to give them the chance to stay in touch with you, so you can reach out to them and they can better understand who you are and whether you are the right kind of person. So email marketing, which is the next thing, is super important in that sense. So it's a lot more than just the ability to send emails, a lot more. Email marketing is a very small, is a tool, basically. It's an online tool. I particularly like a tool called MailChimp, chimp as in the chimpanzee. MailChimp is my preferred email marketing tool, but basically it's a place that stores all these email addresses that people will leave on your website. And you can reach out to them. They will store these email addresses in a GDPR compliant way to make sure it's all protected. These are customer data, super precious. We have to really make sure that it's respected and honored and safe. So an email marketing tool will do this for you. I personally use 2 email lists in my language training business. I've got an email list for my clients specifically, so those who are already with me, those who are already working with me. So every fortnight I would send them an email with helpful tips and resources that I know would help them on their language learning journey. And I've got another list for my prospects. So the prospects are actually the people who would leave their email address on my website and who express their interest to hear from me, but they are not just ready to buy. So what do I do with these guys? Well, they are there. Every once in a while, I would send them an email. Definitely, I would send them an email when the number of my clients would drop below 10. So but I don't think I mentioned that at any given time, I work with 10 key clients. And when I anticipate the number of 10 to drop because a person would finish their program and they are not moving forward, then that's when I would reach out to my prospect just to say, I've got a space opening up. If you're interested, then this is the time. But also in the meantime, so it's not just about telling them that you can now work with me, but just simply educating them and inspiring them with useful content about language learning, because they express their interest anyway. And if they are not interested or no longer interested, then they just simply unsubscribe with a click. No harm done, no bad feelings. No one wants to bother anyone with emails or with anything who is really not that keen to hear from you. So this is it about the email list. Then another powerful thing about email marketing is the automation capability that it offers. And I'm a huge fan of anything that saves time and make things just run smoother in the background. So, with an email marketing tool, you can create a nice welcome email, welcoming people who just express their interest, but are not yet ready to buy. You can welcome your actual clients who really become clients in the end. And something that I'm just toying with the idea to try in my language business is this onboarding sequence. What is that? So you can create, let's say, I don't know, a 6-part series of emails that you would send out every week or every 2 weeks, whatever frequency you choose. It's absolutely up to your liking. And it's about, for example, new starters, right? Someone just joins you as a new client. You would send them a welcome email. Then you would send them some helpful resources. You would send them another email with, I don't know, video tools that they might want to use in their language learning journey, or with prospects, for example. Again, so welcoming them on your list and knowing that they are actually interested in learning a language. You can send them case studies, including some testimonials from clients of yours. So build trust. This can be all done automatically. I'm not using this just yet in the language business, but I'm planning to create something like that, because again, it's a very smart way to stay in touch with people who are not yet ready to buy, and maybe they are never going to be ready to buy, but at least I'm doing them something good, and they will remember me. So whenever the time comes and they need someone like me, then chances are that they will probably think of me, and I will come to their mind. Now, moving on. So we talked about website, we talked about email marketing. Back to email marketing first. Let's not forget that the website and your email marketing, your email list, these are your assets. These are your properties. No one can take these away from you, which is why I would always say that website and email list are the 2 most important assets of any online business, So even as we talk about social media, and as I just mentioned, this is not yours. The platform is not yours. You are completely in the hands of algorithms. The goal of social media should always be to bring people over to the website and to create subscribers on your email list to make sure that you can stay in touch with them, regardless of algorithmic changes or whatever. Social media, we have to talk about social media if we talk about online marketing and attracting clients, of course. Now, here is the thing. Social media is a great place to engage with people, right? It's a great place to network, to connect with people. I would say that so back in 2010, it was a fun place to be. These days, it tends to be a little bit overcrowded and not so much, not that much fun anymore. But still, I understand that it's very an important place to be. However, I've got a confession to make. So in my language business, ProLingua Global, I don't remember when was the last time I actually posted on Facebook. We don't even have an Instagram channel. We are on Twitter, yes, of course, LinkedIn, but honestly, maybe it was last summer that I posted the last time on my on these channels. Why? I don't need to. And I find it very time consuming. The pressure is huge, this kind of social pressure to say something, to be there, to show up. And I don't know, I just don't like it. But the point is that I don't need to post in order to find clients. And here is a big distinction. So I don't need to post to find clients. I'm going to share with you in a minute how I actually find clients whenever I've got gaps in the business other than email marketing and reaching out to my prospects. Social media is not one of them. Now, having said that, I am on social. I'm active on social as Gabriella Ferenczi for my marketing business as well, but not so much for ProLingua Global. So that's a confession over. The question here really is about the target audience. So let's go back to that. Who is it that you serve? Who is your target market? What sort of clients do you want to attract? What sort of clients do you work with? And more importantly, who do you not work with? Because that's equally important. So, what sort of age group are we talking about? What sort of demographic? What are their interests? And most importantly, what platform do they hang out on? Is it Facebook? Is it Twitter? Is it Instagram? It really depends on a lot of factors, a lot of things. this is the very first consideration. So what platform is your target audience on? That's the platform you should focus on if you want to be active on social media. That's the platform to focus on, and you just happily ignore the rest if you feel the same kind of pressure that I feel. Now, I just decided to ignore it all in terms of the language business. I know it's a bit too drastic perhaps, but I will share with you in a second how exactly, or what it is that I actually do to find my clients. Now, I understand that, you might say that your target audience is a lot more into social media than, checking their emails, which I would understand. And, but still, let's go back to the same story. What's your own asset? What is yours? The website and your email list. Social media followers are not yours, okay? So don't use social to replace your email list building. Use social to enhance your email list building. So yes, you do want to post if that feels right because your target market is there. Use it, but don't forget to bring people over to your email list every once in a while. How you can promote your email opt-in. Did you know we have got an email list where we do this and that, make it an enticing offer for them to come and join and jump on board, because what you share there is not going to be shared on social. So this is just one way to really promote people to be there with you. Email, oh yes, and it's another important point, perhaps worth to mention. Email is very intimate. It's a one-on-one session with your client, even if they know that it's an email list and you are sending it to not just themselves, but by other people as well. Email is a lot more intimate. You can come a lot closer to your clients than on social media. Okay. Now, and one more thing about social is the reach, how many people you can actually reach with a post without paying a penny. So I don't know if you have noticed, but on Facebook, for example, if you have a business page, right, and let's say you have got 1,000 followers who are actually liking your page, the number of people your post is going to reach is probably closer to about 100 or 200 at best. And it's not necessarily your fault. So it's not necessarily about the quality of your post. It might be, the best post ever that could really be useful to them. It's just not shown to them because of the algorithm. And Facebook changed their algorithm. A few years ago, I remember very vividly when they announced that, okay, from now on, we are going to focus more on connecting people rather than businesses. So now businesses basically, and I think that's a clever move, that's a fair move, but that means that businesses like us, we have to pay to not just to reach new people, but to actually reach those who are already following our page, which seems like crazy, but it's precisely because Facebook is trying to promote people connecting with people rather than businesses with people. So Facebook has become now a paid advertising platform, and I will talk about that in the next section. So basically, paid advertising. This is my secret weapon, and I don't know if you have ever used paid advertising in your language business. If you have, maybe you would want to share in the chat box. I won't be able to see it now, but afterwards I would love to see it. So there are two major advertising platforms. It's either Google or Facebook. I'm going to talk about both, and then I will explain why it is that I went down this particular route. So I believe, and I just want you to keep an open mind and an open heart here, okay? Because I understand that this might be a little bit counterintuitive, right? That we pay money first before we actually receive money from a client. I understand that it's a bit of a gamble. It might feel like a gamble, but I honestly believe that it's not. And I also believe that this is something that we can do. We don't necessarily need to give it to an expert. I know there are experts out there who are specialized in Google ads, who are specialized in Facebook ads. Yes, it's a complex subject, but honestly, it's not rocket science. It's not as complicated as it seems. And so here is what I do. And I just did it all myself. I learned from other advertisers, of course, but in the end, I just decided to try and set it all up for myself. I think paid advertising is like paying for postage to get your content, your service, your website in front of the right people. That's what paid advertising is. I'm really not afraid of spending money to get people in. And I especially like Google when it comes to paid advertising. Why? Just imagine this. So when someone would look for a German language teacher or a Hungarian language teacher, if they don't know anyone, they will of course go onto Google. So people on Google are actively searching for what I am and what I do and how I can actually help them. They are actively looking for us, right? Now, I just typed in, this was today, I took this screenshot, I don't know how visible it is, yoga teacher London. I was just curious, you know, the first 4 places are ads. Yoga teachers paying Google to display them on top of the screen. And this is actually like four different ads, one after the other. It's crazy because basically I need to scroll down to see the organic search results. So those who do not pay Google, but whose website is quite SEO optimized, which means that they would show up like just below the ads. So, you know, basically in the first bits, it's the paid advertising that comes up. This is how I also show up for people. But here is the thing. And here is why I decided to go down this way. Targeting on Google. You can be very specific about who you want to target. You can say that you want to target a specific age group, and you can be as specific as, I don't know, like 30 to 40 or even 30 to 35. I'm trying to remember, maybe I'm not completely right, but for sure you can target people within a specific age group. You can target a specific demographic, like people in a certain location, like postcode. So London is divided up into postcodes. I can be very specific what district, what postcode area I want to target and what postcodes I want to completely exclude. So, you know, for me, this is just, this is a no-brainer. Like Google will find the people that I want. I can also say on Google that I only want the top 20 to 30% household income people. So, you know, the richest people, so to say. And I can exclude everyone else. So again, it's just mind-blowing. Like I can say that I want to target people who are often traveling to Germany or Hungary. I can say that I want to target people who, what else can I say? Like it's honestly mind-blowing, but you can also say specifically what sort of people you do not want to target. Are you discriminating? No, you are not, because we are talking about your money here, and you don't want to spend, you know, on clicks by people who you know you won't be able to serve because they won't be able to afford you. They are just not the right kind of people. They are not in the right location. Why would you target a different location to the one you are actually want to serve? You know, so what you can do with Google is absolutely mind-blowing. Now, don't ask me how Google knows all this stuff about us. That's another question, right? But from the perspective of a small business owner, this is genius. This is like gold mine. So in this particular campaign, I don't think you would be able to see the numbers because it's quite small, I understand. But basically, this was a campaign that I was running last year in January. And I spent maybe 250 pounds on this particular advertising campaign. But you can also set the budget, how much you want to spend and how much you don't want to spend. You know, so you can cap your spending limit and you can say, okay, Google, I want to set up this ad I want to target these specific people, and my spending limit is £20, 30 euros, whatever. You can tell it to Google, and it's not going to go over your budget, which is very, very smart. Now, in this particular campaign, I spent about 250 pounds, something like that. And immediately it brought the right kind of clients for me. So I didn't even need to convince them too much. The price is always a crucial point. If it's not advertised on the website, it's not advertised on my website, my price. So of course, the question comes up. And when I say the number, nothing happened. It's just, okay, how can I give you my credit card? I want to pay. So it's really, it's genius, and it's quite comfortable, to be honest. So Google does the hard job for me. All I need to do is just really make the sale. So this is what I personally do, but I do want to talk about the other advertising platform, Facebook as well. So here's the thing about Facebook. Facebook is not a place where people would go to find a language teacher, right? So on Facebook, people are passively scrolling, reading stuff, checking out photos. And then there are these sponsored ads that come up every once in a while, and you can do these sponsor ads as well. Again, it might seem a bit complicated, so you need a business page for these sort of capabilities. Now, what did I want to say? It's just suddenly I remember that the business page on Facebook is again essential to have this sort of advertising capabilities. Again, you can be very specific about who you want to target with your ad. However, because on Facebook people are not actively looking for you, right? People are just passively scrolling. You can't use the same kind of advertising technique that you would use on Google. And this is precisely the reason why I just couldn't be bothered about setting up Facebook campaigns. When Google works like a charm for me, then why would I bother about Facebook? I think I forgot to mention that, I spent £250 on that campaign. It brought in the client, and the client, they invested £1,600, and the client is still with me, renewing and renewing. So was it worth it in the end? Of course it was worth it. So, for me, it's really a no-brainer. Back to Facebook. Sorry, I'm jumping back and forth, but I'm hoping that it still kind of makes sense. So the advertising strategy here needs to be very, very different to the one I would use on Google, where people are already looking for me, and all I need to do is just show up for them. But it's wonderful because Facebook is also a visual tool, right? You don't have the visual on Google. It's just text, basically. You have to stand out with your copy. On Facebook, you can stand out with your visuals as well. So it's a lot more creative. Again, it's doable, it's learnable, and it's not rocket science. So, and again, you can set the budget, how much you are willing to spend, and you can treat Facebook like your employee. They need a bit of training. The algorithm needs a bit of training, but then once they understand what sort of people are the right people who are actually taking action on your ad, Facebook becomes your second best advertiser. Now, paid advertising, what else would I want to say? Paying for postage, keep an open mind here, and that this is what a Facebook ad campaign looks like. Again, it looks a bit complex and dry perhaps, but honestly, you just follow the steps and you do it yourself. It's really a no-brainer and not as difficult as it seems. So, well, website, email, two most important tools to make sure that you can stay in touch with clients and you can turn visitors into prospects, and then those prospects into paying clients. After you build trust, you share with them educational content, inspiring stuff. Social media, either use it sparingly, or if you really use it heavily because your target audience is on social media, make sure that it's not at the expense of your website content and your email marketing, and then paid advertising. I understand that it sounds a bit of a gamble, but you can be in control there, and I honestly believe that it's learnable and it's doable. And one final thing about the marketing mindset. So it's for those of you who are a little bit the shy side, who are not really comfortable with marketing, who are a little bit maybe, because one side of me is also an introvert. So I really like the way Google does the job for me. But whenever I have this sort of thing that, oh, I don't want to post because I don't want to come across as too pushy or whatever, I just try to remind myself that, you know, I can be the best language teacher ever, but if no one knows about me, no one will find me. And there are people out there who are looking for me, specifically because I am the best person to help them. There are people where I'm not the best person to help, but there are people who are actually waiting for me to show up for them. And it's my responsibility to show up for people who need me. This is how I look at marketing, and this is how I try to approach this whole story of you know, not wanting to come across as too pushy, if that makes sense. And I guess that's basically what I wanted to say, and I hope you've got some time for questions if anyone wants to say anything. Now,
I'm going to unmute. I think, yes, first of all, thank you very, very much. It was riveting. It was eye-opening. And I'm sure that there are a lot of questions. I'm sure that you weren't able to look through the chat box as you were talking, obviously, but there are a few things here. If anyone would like to unmute themselves and signal to us somehow that you'd like to ask a specific question, then I'd be very, very happy to get the questions. There are a few here, but I don't specifically remember what each one as we were talking, as you were talking. Sorry, Gabi.
but perhaps I don't know if anyone wants to share anything or really ask a question, or perhaps while you are building up the to the idea of asking a question, just one final thought, because I was you know, what sort of business are we in? I mean, we as language teachers, I think we tend to forget that that we have a huge responsibility on our shoulders, because actually what we do is we connect people, we connect businesses, we connect different cultures, we promote understanding between people, and I think we all understand that. However, what is at stake? You know, we are tackling, like humanity is tackling major crises, you know, talking about the pandemic, talking about the climate, you name it. So the only way to solve these kind of problems is through communication across, you know, cultures. We need to promote understanding on a global scale, and that's the business we are in. It's a massive responsibility, and so let's take this seriously, both in the job that we do, which we all do, I know, which we really take seriously, and I also want to say that the passion is palpable. You know, when it comes to language teachers, we all love what we do. I mean, I work with these guys in finance. They hate their job. You know, they are paid massive amounts of money, but they hate their job. Okay, I'm exaggerating, of course, not all of them, not everyone, but you get the idea. And then here we are, you know, struggling to find clients. Let's step up our game. I really believe that this is the missing piece of the puzzle. You know, methodology, it's important to us. That's what ILCA is all about. That's why we are here. But let's make sure that, you know, we are the best language teachers we can be. Let's make sure that we show up for people who would actually need us and benefit from how we can actually help them and serve them.
Absolutely, yeah. I think we all agree with this. I'm not looking at the messages at the bottom. I'm scrolling through here and looking for the first question, which would be, yeah, so this connection between obviously having a website and using social media. So it's two pillars, isn't it? So you can't really have one without the other. You do have to take advantage of both of them. But I think that was pretty obvious from what we had. Another thing, this technical issue, not everything was 100% clear. It is now, of course, but it was wasn't through the talk. So the question is, will we have access to the slides if possible? Is that
I'm happy to share the slides with you. I don't know if it's going to be helpful because most of it is just, you know, visuals, and I understand there is not much text in there, but I'm happy to like create a condensed version of it and then share with you guys. No problem.
Right. Okay. So the question is, I'm just looking here. Yeah, there are 1 or 2 comments on MailChimp. Okay. Also, it depends what age group the niche is, though, your target market is. So you'd be using different channels for someone between 30, 50 or 50 plus, or teenagers, things like that, right? So that sort of thing.
I can see the chat box now. It's just come up, and I see people asking about paid ads on YouTube. Has anyone tried that? I must say that that I'm not a specialist in this area, and I have not explored this channel just yet. I don't know. And someone is asking about AdWords. So yes, when it comes to Google advertising, then yes, it would be in AdWords. Basically, Google Ads is where you can set up all these campaigns. And the other thing is, sometimes people ask me about LinkedIn as an advertising platform, right? Because, for example, in my target audience, finance professionals, you might say that, you know, why are you not active on LinkedIn? You might find your target audience there. Yes, but again, it's just, you know, me posting and then waiting for people to show up. It doesn't feel right for me. So when it comes to return on investment of my time, it just doesn't make sense. And this is why I'm not overly active on social with my language business. Now, LinkedIn as an advertising platform, the reason why I talked about Google and Facebook is because these are more established, right? LinkedIn is a relatively new place as an advertising platform. Let's not forget that they make money. LinkedIn makes money. I think LinkedIn is owned by Microsoft. They make money through all sorts of ways, and advertising is a relatively new feature there. It's not very well established just yet, from what I understand, and it's also quite costly. So I think it's best to perhaps wait a little bit with, I personally haven't tried LinkedIn for these reasons, but I feel that it's a little bit, it's less advanced compared to what you can do with Google and Facebook.
Okay. Another thing that came up was the onboarding sequence, whether you could add 1 or 2 details to that. So it seems like a really good idea. And I saw a lot of people taking notes there of, you know, onboarding people, which is a great idea.
So you can use it both for existing clients. So those who you can create 2 onboarding sequences, so to say. So one can be for your existing clients. Hello, welcome on board. And then you drop content, you know, like helpful, inspirational stuff that you feel could really help them on their language learning journey, right? So one for your existing clients, but then why not do it periodically with those who express their interest in your service, but are just not yet ready to buy. So what can you, and this is something that can really leverage your time, because this is something you create once, and then automatically, whenever someone jumps on the list, it's going to trigger this response, email 1, next week, email 2, or whatever frequency you would want to choose. As an idea, I don't know. So first, definitely a welcome email. I understand you are interested in learning whatever language it is that you teach. In the next email, you would want to talk about, I don't know, helpful tools, a collection of tools, online tools that can help anyone. You know, it might be something very obvious to you, but trust me, it's not obvious to them. You know, even as simple as an online dictionary, like which one to choose. You know, that's a valuable piece of content to these guys. You know, for us, it's like, it's second nature, but it's not to them. You know, then in another one, a case study, a client who worked with you, they started from here and this is where they are now, and these are the obstacles they've overcome. You know, a case study, just demonstrate like what it is that you have done before and you can actually do for them. And so on. You know, I always have a collection. So on all these social platforms, whenever I come across anything interesting, or any article that is shared by my fellow language teachers, for example, I would save them. I've got a library of all these articles, BBC articles about language learning, you name it, loads of different resources, and then I would drop this sort of content. Here is some helpful stuff for you to read. I would send some of them to my trusted clients, others I would keep to my prospects. So these are the things that we can easily share using the onboarding sequence, or just general follow-up emails as well.
Okay. Can you hear me? For some reason I'm muted. You can hear me. Yeah.
Someone is asking, what do my clients get for 1,200 and 1,600?
Yes, that was the big question. I wanted to leave it for the end. Yes. So what's the content of your package?
Thank you. Good question. Exactly, because and this is so, guys, I'm not a business strategist, right? I'm more into the nitty-gritty of the practical online marketing stuff. Like, what do you do? Where do you click? How do you actually make it happen? But business training was really essential for me to create the kind of packages that I'm actually selling to these guys. So I would also want to encourage you to look into the business education in this sense, because that's where this basically came for me. So what I do is, other than, because I was trying to come off the charging by the hour story, right? So this is what this is all about, not doing the charging by the hour thing. Instead, they would buy a module, of course, that would entail a certain amount of hours, both teaching and also coaching. Then I would, then my newsletters are part of the package. Then for my clients specifically, so my finance people, I would also organize networking events on a monthly basis where they can come, talk to each other, hang out with each other. It's also a powerful peer network that they can build there. Lots of different banks, insurance companies, wealth managers, asset managers, and these sorts of people coming together. So it's a great place to network. That's part of the package as well. And these kind of things, I've got a magazine that I would send out to them. You can be as creative as you want to be. An online platform, online collection of tools, an ever-growing library that they can log into and have a look. Whether they do, I don't care, but it's part of the package, and it's there for them to check out. So these are all the things that you can do to position your package and create value more than just the actual charging by the hour thing. This is what I did. It's a package.
Yeah. Wonderful. Something that came to my mind as we were talking is that you're really passionate about it, and it's really not just about clocking in the hours, right? So it's so much more, but for you also, it gives you more energy to go on. So it's not like, okay, I've got 3 clients today, done that, and that can be a bit disheartening after a while, when you're just counting.
Exactly. No, I want to give them the chance to to come together, meet each other, talk to each other, practice the language if they feel like practicing. Pre-pandemic times, we would organize these meetings in the city. We would go into a bar after work, and that's a little bit easier now in pandemic times. I must admit that it's a little bit more challenging, more difficult, because everyone is spending way too much time in front of the screen, right? But still, this is part of the package that they sign up for.
Okay, and I can totally agree with that. I'm also on the cusp of signing a 2,000 plus contract with, and I'm just doing a few coaching hours with a client, and it's incredible. So it can happen. It does happen. It does work. You have to get there. You've got to do a lot of work to actually get there, but it's very rewarding financially. I think, also not only financially, but what you're doing with the client is just so much different to just teaching. And don't get me wrong, I value teaching. I've been doing it for 30 years, but it's more, okay? You're giving a variety of options. Sorry.
Absolutely. No, I just wanted to really follow up on that and say that, you know, the moment you become really confident about your pricing. And for me, I think it was really about owning this this niche, this very specific small niche, you know. And I really became quite confident in the price that I charge. And I say, listen, guys, this is it, like take it or leave it. Honestly, I appreciate if, you know, if this is not suitable for you or for anyone, as a matter of fact. I really do understand, and I don't want to say that this is for anyone and everyone. This is for a select group of people. If you are one of them, you are most welcome to join. If this is not for you, I you know, no bad feelings whatsoever. I understand that, you know. So it's really but this sort of authority and confidence that that comes through, even in on those who would be a little bit wary. I very rarely come across people, because, as I said, Google does the filtering for me. So it really, you know, the inquiries that I get, they will be able to afford me. But if ever, you know, someone comes through the filter and is a bit, ooh, that's interesting, like you charge like double to you know, what I would expect, then I would say, yes, I know, I understand. But it's for a reason.
Exactly. Yeah. And when you're confident about that reason, that's when you can actually charge that kind of money, right? So that's when magic happens.
And they get intrigued, like, oh wow, okay, so that's what you charge. That's really, really interesting. I kind of like it. And it's really interesting, the sort of reaction that you would get, and how special people feel to be part of the game once they sign up and see what it actually is all about.
It's a little bit like, you know, when you're in the supermarket and you're looking at the chocolates, and you see the really fancy, expensive ones up there, you know, and you say, oh, that must be really great because of the packaging, because of the price. It's a little bit like that, isn't it?
I'd like to think of myself as expensive but worth it in terms of the language clients. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know Evangelina has a question. I'd be very happy. Yes.
Hi. My question is about, I mean, I guess the package, you pay for what? For a year? And
people pay for a module. So people pay for a package, people pay for a module, you know, that's for a certain amount of time that they can spend with me. And then they pay for the whole experience. And once that is over, then they can decide, you know, do they want to renew, or have they actually reached the goal that we set out at the start? So this is how it rolls.
But that would be like a whole school year, let's say, like months. It's for some months, like, I don't know, 9, 7,
I would usually,
whatever.
I would say that, yes, I think it helps to give a kind of timeline, you know. So if you buy this module, then I would expect you to finish this in 2.5 months, 3 months, or something like that. It really depends what you put into the package and, you know, how you actually structure it all. But yes, I think it helps to put a timeline on it, because it creates the kind of drive for the client to really make it happen. So it's not necessarily because of you. Yes, it's good for us as well, you know, if we really know that they are going to finish at a specific time, and then we can count on moving on. But it's also good for them, because they want to achieve something, right? And if they don't, that's then they are wasting your time, wasting their time, and most importantly, wasting a lot of money. So it's also for their benefit.
Right.
To put some kind of
incentive.
Absolutely.
Right. Okay. I'm seeing a lot of people signing off now, because we're a tiny bit over our time. I know that a lot of you might have clients waiting, or, you know, dinner, or I don't know, breakfast, or wherever you are over the world. So we'll be wrapping up slowly. But thank you very, very much. If there are any questions, there's one here. Are there any contact hours included in the package? So do you specifically say how many hours you have?
Absolutely. So again, it's the different packages. So there would be, as I said, so I'm trying, the intention is to kind of, get off the charging by the hour thing. But of course, at the end of the day, there is the time element included in this whole package. So you can't completely get off of it. If it's a one-on-one training, of course, it has to be there, but it's the added value. That's the key here. That will really help them understand that, okay, it's not just a meeting with you. It's a lot more than that.
Right. So putting a lot of different elements into that package so that you create that experience, learning experience, much more than just the hours, right? So that's kind of the key. Okay. If you still got a bit of time, what's your key takeaway from today? We'd be very happy to hear that. And yeah, there will be a recording as always, and the slides will be available either through Gabi herself or through ILCA, and we'd be very happy to see your comments, anything that you've got here. And of course, our marketing is that we've still got our foundation starting next week, of course, and we're very happy to see you. We'd love you to join our YouTube channel, and also all the events that we have every month. We have this free talk, as you know, and we're very, very happy to see you at these and to hear your questions. And if there's anything else that we can help you with, then just get in touch with us at our email address. So yeah, I think that's all. I'm not good as this then as Gabi, but yeah, that's my pitch for today. So thank you. Okay, thank you. Yeah, a lot of thank yous here. I think that it was very informative, and we've got quite a lot out of this 60-70 minutes that we had with you, Gabi. And definitely, Alessandra has a question. Yes.
No, I was just gonna say that I attended the foundation course like end of 2019. Yeah. It was worth it. I loved it. I learned a lot. And yes,
thank you very much.
It's not advertising; it's recommending for people who haven't done it yet. So
no,
thank
you. Thank you very much. What did you enjoy about it? I mean, if you've already volunteered.
I enjoyed the coaching into teaching in a more structured way, because I was already doing it, but not in such a structured way. Plus, it helped me to, rethink how to connect and interact with my clients, students.
All right. Okay. There you are. So there's our pitch. Thank you very much, Alessandra. Thank you. Okay, so if there's anything else, then do keep in touch with us. We're really happy to answer any questions you might have. And thank you for spending time with us. Screen time, we know screen time is now slowly scream time, but it's still, we're still here, we're still going. And I think there's been so many great ideas here. And I know I've already learned, I'm already thinking of 1 or 2 ideas for ILCA definitely after today. So thank you very much. So if there's anything you'd like to share, the chat box is still here. Okay, it's still open. I'm going to be the last one leaving the boat today. So thank you very much. And I understand if you're slowly closing all the all the windows here, but thank you very, very much. Bella is clapping. Thank you very much for being here. It's been wonderful. Thank you, Gabi, again for creating this moment for us. So it's been very instructive. Lots of thank yous here once again, and it's been really useful. And it's always a pleasure to have these talks, because I'm always learning. So we're organizing these, and we're always learning more and more aspects of we've got this business and marketing, social media, etc. aspect of language coaching, and then at other times we learn about the methodology of it, or another aspect of connecting with clients, and it's really, really insightful. So I'm learning more through these talks than I would be looking through books on language coaching, which don't really exist too much, but hopefully that will change over time. Is there anything, I know that there's still a smaller group here, so if you feel more comfortable to ask anything or share anything, then we're really happy to. I know Gabi's really open to answering any questions that you have, or just something that you'd like to share with us. No, we're fine. Okay. All right, then I'm going to be closing this for today. And thank you very, very much. I'm going to stop the recording definitely. And yeah, I'm stopping. Yeah.